How has sobriety improved your relationships and your emotional intelligence?
So I think I've got a lot more depth in the relationships that I have. Even the people that I knew before I stopped, the people that I actually did a lot of drinking with, I feel that we are closer and that I know more about them and I care more about them now. I think I was quite selfish when I was drinking. A lot of the time it was, that's great. You can come along if it fits in. But now it's more kind of a case of, look, what should we do that is beneficial for all of us? Rather than I will do anything so long as it involves alcohol. So it's what do we need? I guess it's approaching relationships from the point of view of how can we both win rather than approaching relationships from this point of view that I'm going to win. And if you get something out of it, all's to good. If you don't, see you later.
Yeah, so it's like almost a positive sum game instead of a zero sum game in that regard.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how was your emotional intelligence improved? Like how can people improve their emotional intelligence once they stop drinking? What are some tips for that?
Again, that's a pretty big area. I think a good starting point is actually to think about the palette of emotions, because most people will do mad, sad, and glad, won't they? They don't go much further than happy, angry, or upset. However, there is a whole world of emotions out there, and actually starting to think more about them. You don't necessarily need to dig into the minutiae of the difference between jealousy and envy, but just to start to think more about those emotions. And when you are feeling something, think, oh, actually, is this anger? Or maybe is there a bit of shame in this? What is actually going on? Dig a bit deeper into it. That's also quite useful. At the end of the day, anything that increases your self-awareness is going to help massively. So understanding how you feel about something increases your self-awareness. Understanding why you do things increases your self-awareness. Looking at your history. And look, I don't think there is a direct causal connection, A, B, C, kind of with history in the past, but I think understanding it and thinking, you know what, I grew up seeing that as a role model for relationships. So it's not really that surprising I behave that way. However, I don't have to behave that way. I can choose to behave in a different way. So understanding the past is a big bit of self-awareness. If you're not sure what to do, I always defer to Gandhi on this point. You will find yourself in the service of others. Actually, I think he said you will find yourself by losing yourself in the service of others. And I think that is a really great starting point. If you're not sure what to do, something that benefits someone else, and you will get, and it will benefit you a lot, benefit other people. It's the most selfish thing you can do.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think was the main emotion that had control of you, if there was one, when you were drinking compared to now?
Or probably fear.
Really?
Yeah, fear that I wouldn't be able to get anything to drink.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear and shame and regret in my life before I stopped drinking. And yeah, it was all very negative stuff that I was trying to block out. And it's a singly ineffective way of blocking it out, because you don't really get rid of it. You just push it away to the side, and then eventually it comes back. Usually it would come back the same night. Usually I'd ignore it for a little while, and then it would come back a lot stronger and a lot bigger and a lot more scary. I just drink some more until kind of lost consciousness.
Yeah. What about nowadays? What emotions driving you nowadays? How has it changed?
Humor, funny. I do like funny. So there's a lot of joy and laughter in my life. We touched on compassion earlier, and I think that is enormously important. Partly it's important in the work that I do. I think you've got to approach everybody with compassion, and you've got to try and understand where they're coming from, because if you don't try and understand where someone else is coming from, you can't really help them. So it's enormously important in work, but it's also enormously important in not being a dick.